Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have another interesting episode for you guys that you definitely want to stick around for, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So as y'all know, the NBA world seems to be losing its mind over the last 24 to 48 hours. People have been literally losing their minds since the Golden State Warriors made it to the NBA Finals. Now, all of a sudden, this major kind of component of the sports world is rearing its ugly head, and that sickness is called the prisoner of the moment syndrome. It has totally taken over the sports world. And now we're seeing it in full effect. I've been hearing various voices say that if Stephen Curry wins his fourth NBA championship and wins his first Finals MVP, he will now be neck and neck with LeBron James. This is something that has totally left me speechless. We put polls on our channel, and a good amount of people believe it. People really, really believe it. Now, if you remember, back in 2015, Stephen Curry had one of the single greatest individual seasons of any player in NBA history. During that season, Stephen Curry, let me tell you guys what he did in that season, okay? He won an NBA championship that season. That season, I think he won a regular season MVP unanimously. He led the league in steals, I believe, 2015, 2016 season. He led the league in steals, and I think he also shot 50. He had 50, 40, 90 season, and I think he was part of that team that had the greatest record in NBA history. And during that season, if y'all remember properly, people were starting to say that Stephen Curry had now surpassed LeBron James as the best player in the world. I remember that. And I remember some reports back then that LeBron was a bit irked by a lot of people saying that. And he was saying that there's a difference between being the most valuable player in the NBA and being the best player in the NBA. But now it seems as if, according to Brian Windhorst, some years later, that LeBron had some thoughts about that comparison that he's now making public, and I think it will surprise a lot of you to hear what LeBron James actually thought about those comparisons. So before we go too far, take a listen to Brian Windhorst just yesterday on ESPN, basically taking us behind the curtains and letting us know what LeBron really, really thought about those comparisons. Take a listen to that here.
And I totally agree with that. Like, and even like the years that they didn't win it, right? Like 3-1 lead. Yeah. KD goes down, Toronto wins. You know, like, this could have easily been 8 out of 8. You know, we're not even having this conversation right now. So let's not take that away.
To be clear, KD got hurt that year, or otherwise most people think they would have beaten the Raptors. Why is Windy laughing, by the way? I'm distracted, Windy, out of the corner of my eye. Why is this funny to you?
I'm just imagining if LeBron was here right now and had a glass of wine in him, hearing this conversation, the things that he would say would be unbelievable. I mean, on one hand, I have to say, if Steph Curry wins the finals and the MVP, when you talk about a guy with 4 rings, 2 MVPs, and a finals MVP, you're talking about the uber elite in the history of the game. You're talking about Jordan, LeBron, Russell, stuff like that. Like, Steph would be one of like 5 guys who's ever done that. But LeBron James would laugh at the concept that they're being compared like this, because he would compare.
No, we're not comparing.
We're not comparing.
We're not comparing. Don't take our words.
We are comparing.
We're not comparing the player. We're not comparing the player. We're comparing what they've done to win championships. We're not comparing the player.
With the 2 of their accomplishments side by side, I thought that was
we're not comparing
comparison.
the players. Let's get that correct for our viewers.
So tell me what we are, Pat. If we're not comparing them
in the conversation.
What are we doing? What are we doing if we're not comparing them?
We're first off, we're trying to start gossip right now. That's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to get viewers in. That's what we're trying to do. But we're comparing a 6'1" guy to a 6'9" guy. I mean, you start there. You can't even compare that to start off, you know. So again, the terminology of discredit, you can't discredit LeBron. So we're not discrediting LeBron, but we're just giving Steph Curry his flowers. That's it. We're just giving Steph Curry his flowers.
Let me get VC in here. I have a few thoughts, but go ahead, Vince. Go.
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying we're not comparison. We're just saying we're acknowledging that Steph deserves to be in the conversation. It's not a comparison of who's better. Me personally, I'm not into comparing who's better. But the question was, do we think Steph deserves to be in that conversation with some of the elite with his resume and what he's done for the game since he's been in this league? And I think that's what we're talking about. And I think he does. He wins this MVP. That 0 turns to a 1. It's not comparing, because at the end of the day, you could say 4 and 4, and LeBron has 4 MVPs. We're not comparing. We're just saying he deserves to be in that conversation.
So, as y'all heard, that was an extremely, extremely entertaining exchange that we just saw. Now, first of all, let me say this. They were absolutely trying to compare those two players. If you're going to give his guy his flowers, then give him his flowers alone. But what they were trying to do was compare those two players because they knew it would drive ratings. Even Patrick Beverley said it right there. First of all, LeBron James is the face of the NBA, and Stephen Curry is one of the most popular players in the NBA, and the Warriors have one of the biggest fan bases in the NBA. So they know once they start comparing these two guys, it's going to drive a lot of ratings. So when they were like, no, we're not comparing them, Brian Windhorst is like, well, I saw a graphic up there basically showing these two guys next to one another. So I think it looked to me like you were trying to compare. I mean, that's exactly what they were trying. They were trying to compare them, period, point blank. Period, end of story, right? Brian Windhorst was right on the money. But back to the larger point that I want to get to here. I think LeBron James was right to laugh then, and he is absolutely right to laugh now. Stephen Curry is great. He is fantastic. But there is no need for some of you guys to jump out of the window because you guys are super hyped. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of hype. Changing, a lot of people are saying, well, changing the way the game is played should matter. Listen, changing the way the game is played does not make you better than the next guy. It doesn't make you better. Listen, the NBA is a copycat league. At one point, it was considered, standard behavior for teams to have 2 7-footers in their lineup when the Lakers were going to the finals back to back to back, and they won 2 championships consecutively. Then teams were running these very big lineups. At one point, there was another point to have 3 all-stars on your team. That was the one thing. That was one thing that people, a lot of teams were trying to do. You have to have a trio of stars to be competitive. LeBron and these guys tried to do it, and then you had the Golden State Warriors, and then the Golden State Warriors came along and they started shooting threes, and now everybody all of a sudden is shooting threes. It's just another phase of the game. But because you were able to influence the game in that way, does not mean you're better than LeBron James. It doesn't. It's not an argument worth using because it has nothing to do with these two guys being compared head to head, number one. And number two, it doesn't erase all of the accomplishments that LeBron James has. It doesn't. There's no way in hell y'all are going to tell me that 4 championships with 1 finals MVP is somehow equal to 4 championships with 4 finals. How do y'all you see, LeBron fans, now I'm forced to become a LeBron James defender, but let me say this to LeBron fans. What you guys are witnessing is what Michael Jordan fans feel when you guys try to say that LeBron is on par with Michael. This is what the annoyance that you guys are feeling, the aggravation that you guys are feeling is what Jordan fans feel. Because you guys are trying to take something, these guys are trying to take something that doesn't really add up and trying to tell us something else. I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, but I find myself pushing back on this notion, and I think it's hilarious that LeBron James laughed at it then, and I'm sure LeBron is probably sitting there somewhere sipping some vino and cracking up about it because I think the entire thing is one big joke. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this latest report and what Brian Windhorst had to say about what LeBron James would possibly be doing and what he did then? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.